Hello and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to the stream to yet another session of inspiring conversations. I am live from Kópavogur, Iceland, and just to show you how life can be beautiful, and then it turns well, it depends on if you like this or not. This is the situation outside my house. So Tuesday when I woke up, this just was the picture I had. And now we are dealing with the consequences because of course nobody had like all cars had wrong tires under them and whatnot. So but it is beautiful when you look out the window. But when you have to go outside, then you're not like then you have to like be in a good shape. But just to go back and remind ourselves about inspiring conversations. Why am I doing this? Because I feel like we need, and it's all about creating conversations that really matter. We are diving into ways to connect deeply, break down barriers, and build moments that inspire trust and growth. Whether it is with your team at work or in your everyday chats, we will bring more positivity, realness, and impact into every conversation. And today, my guest has written a book. Oh, surprise, surprise! So, my guest has written the book, The Super Connectors Playbook, and that is like the other is how to achieve your goals through authentic business relationship. So now we can turn our attention to Lirone
Hello.
Glikman.
Hi. Hadin, how are
Hello.
you?
Well, I'm fine, thank you. So welcome to this episode of
Thank you.
Inspire. I almost forgot what the, what the show was called. Inspiring conversation. I It's hard to be 29 sometimes, like
Yeah,
really
it's very
hard.
hard. It's very hard. Wait
Oh,
until you're 30. Life gets
yes,
much
and
easier then.
with all this snow and everything, it's just like I I am not a fan. So just so that is said. So
Mhm,
Liron, we were talking before we went in, like when we
mhm.
before I started. Liron, your name has a special meaning, isn't it?
Exactly. So, when I look at you, I see you smile. I see you're like happy and high energy. And when you look at me, you see me smile and happy with high energy. And my name actually means my happiness in one of the oldest languages on earth. So I'm happy to share the happiness like yourself.
It's so nice to have
Yeah.
this, like, and you can, well, luckily for us
Hmm.
and you portray the happy, like
Yeah.
you are a like smiling person, and you smile with your whole face. Oh, we do both because like
Hmm.
you smile with your eyes and whatnot. So
Exactly.
just
That
before,
This heading has a meaning because they say that a name really, is like they're a character who we are really has some correlation with our names.
well, I thought my name was Heathen. Like,
Eden.
yes, but then I realized when I was 29 plus that it means something of a skin cloak or something. So when you
Okay.
kill an animal and you put the cloak, so maybe
Mhm.
it's like,
Warm. It's warmth.
oh,
It's
yes, so,
coziness. It's fun. Like
yes,
you give me, like the
yes,
feeling you give your guests on the show. See,
yes.
it
So
makes
I am
sense.
just oozing off like my warmth and whatnot. So yeah. But to remind people, I was just saying, like, if we have a question, then you can
Yeah.
comment on LinkedIn or Facebook or I think on YouTube. If you're watching it there, then you can
Mhm.
participate in this conversation because Lirone has. We are going to talk about something very important, but Lirone, we can't. We have to like, who is Lirone Glikman and
Mhm.
how did you ever come up with uh, writing a book, the Super Connect
Hmm.
book? Oh, by the way, I love the you know the cover.
So before I'll tell you how I came up with the book,
Yeah.
funny thing is that my book, I sent it to some of my friends around the world, and then I get a video from a friend's daughter in Spain saying, "This is mine." She didn't want to give it to her daddy. It's mine. It's mine. And then another friend's son in Miami goes, "This is mine. This is mine." And I'm like, maybe the color really, speaks to kids, even though it's for, for kids and for grown-ups. So just a funny anecdote. But I'm really happy that kids love it because it took me over 12 years to create it and build it. So how does the book come across? I basically started my career very young when I was 16, and I was always a dreamer. I wanted to do a lot of things, and I wanted to be in places, and I wanted to work for NASA and to work in cruise ships, and I wanted to be in the circus. And I was deeply frustrated because I didn't know anyone at NASA. I didn't know anyone in the circus. True story. And from a young age, I realized that if I want to achieve things in life, I need to know and really like personally know and be friend with the right people, because I know that when someone likes you, he would want to help you. Same as when I like someone, I want them to enjoy and to grow. So with this mindset, I started my career and I flew to Australia. I didn't know anyone. Within a month, I got a radio show, and the radio manager told me, you know something, your English sucks, but I like your energy and I'm going to give you a show. And literally, look, I would not give myself a show. Honestly, my English was so bad at the time. But then you see that maybe there is something stronger than knowing the language when you broadcast on radio. Maybe the strongest suit would be to have the right energy. Then after 2 months, I got to work for Australia's biggest corporation, Westfield Shopping Centers. And then a few years later, I moved by myself to New York. And again, I did the same thing. And within 3 weeks, I got a job at a PR firm working with the UN and Fortune 500. And then I realized, hey, I apparently know how to network and get results out of it, but do I actually, can I teach it? So then I started building methodology. I taught it up till today in 27 countries, the method about how to achieve goals through relationship building. And I'm so honored to say I've touched so many people, and now the book is kind of the second phase to it.
Tell me, you are half
Yeah.
French and half how do you say
Yeah.
Israelite?
So I'm
How
a
do you say?
woman of the world. I'm
Yes.
actually half Egyptian, half Romanian by origin. Citizenship, I am half French, half Israeli. And I always say I'm either Cleopatra or Dracula, depends where you get me, like Egyptian and Romanian. So I'm kind of a woman of the world, I would say. That's the easiest way to say
Well, yeah. So you are just like, yeah.
it. Yeah.
But isn't it like going to Australia and getting your own radio show?
Uh-huh.
Isn't it just like you're off? Like you are. There is something authentic with you. Like you are just.
Hmm.
There is something about as he. If your boss in the radio show said, like
Yeah.
you, there is something with you or about you. Like there is. You portray this. This is
Mhm.
energy, isn't
So
it?
I'll tell you something. Everyone has the energy. You don't have to be extroverted or introverted. You can be shy. I mean, you can be anything. You have something special, and every listener here have something special. We don't always, wake up in the morning. Most people will like, "Hey, hi, I'm here," and we're blasting with our best energies. But I think we can connect to our energies, and sometimes one person energy could be to be very peaceful and quiet and listen, and people would love their energy because they're so accommodating and listening. And some other people could be very funny, or some other people can be a bit cheeky and sophisticated. So I just want to say that there is no one size fits all. We all have our own way to show up, and
Yeah.
the right people will be drawn to our energy, and the wrong people not. And I'm going to say something again. I've been on TV and radio, and I did a little mistake. I didn't turn on the light. So I want you to see me. So give me a second. I'll just turn the
Yeah.
camera off for 2 seconds.
2 seconds,
And I know
yes.
you can feel out the gap. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
trust
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Because I'm just
One
thinking about.
second.
I can show people again the. This is what I'm talking about, people. If you wake up in the morning and you look out the window, it's either or, isn't it? When I saw this, I thought this is beautiful, and then I got myself. I'm telling people that
Yeah.
when you wake up and look outside the window, you can.
Mhm.
10 years ago, I would have said, ugh, but I chose to be like calm. I got my coffee, and then when I got out later that day,
Yeah.
then I was not that happy, but still, like, because you have
Hmm.
to walk the snow and what, and then you have to clean the car and whatnot.
Exactly.
But it is just and the stillness and
Hmm.
calmness when the cold and the snow is. There is
Yeah.
some energy in the air that is just unexplainable.
Hmm.
You are so alive. You are so cold, but you're
Yeah.
alive.
But you're alive. You're alive to
Yeah.
enjoy the cold. That's also
Yes.
important. Yeah. To
Yeah.
enjoy
So
from
this
it.
is just like
Hmm.
something that happens. But like I totally understand, and
Yeah.
the meaning. I remember when. Do you remember when psychology, like when the positive psychology came, and
Yeah.
people had the well-being, and you were supposed to go to yoga retreat or whatnot retreat,
Yeah.
and and I was just like, no, I am not there.
Hmm.
And but are you always this cheerful?
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
So you could teach them actually, right?
Well,
In a way.
yes,
Yeah.
because you don't have to be happy all the time. Like
Hmm.
nobody can be 24/7,
Yeah.
because even though I just find it much more funnier
Yeah.
and easier to smile all the time, and I don't want to be like a sour.
Yeah.
Beep.
And I'll
uh,
also share, we just talked earlier that life is a gift. I don't want to take the energy down, but unfortunately, a good friend of mine just passed away a few days ago. And yeah, I'll be honest, like every few hours, I probably get to cry a bit. But I think when you lose someone's important, you really understand, first of all, how important and great to have such good connections in our lives. I speak about business relationship, but it's relationship and how blessed we are to have good people in our life. And on the other hand, is life is, I mean, like if there's one certain thing, we will not stay here forever. Then let's really make the effort to truly enjoy every moment. And people like
and
yourself and like me, I think we're doing good to the people around us because we're just
yeah,
spreading happiness.
and the person who left this earth, like your friend, it's just like this happens, but you are still, you get the warmth just because you remember the person.
Exactly.
So, but to change the subject, to
Yeah.
I know that we have been like clapping ourselves on the shoulder.
Yeah.
So, and that is important. So, we are going to talk about the human factor and
Yes,
standing out
please.
without selling out in the age of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So, everybody, as the subject line, like the under subtitle is, everyone is talking
Hmm.
about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
But you are, and it's funny that I say Lirone Glikman. It's
Yeah.
like you are talking about what it can't replace. And
Exactly.
now we can dive into the conversation. Now you're just teasing me because your trees are still green. Like
Yes,
this.
for now. Don't
This
worry.
is
Berlin
just
background is going to be very
yeah.
white
So
soon.
so this is Europe and this is Iceland. Thank you very much.
Exactly. This is Berlin. Berlin, there's still, there's still a bit green for now.
So, so
Yeah.
how the human factor?
Hmm.
How
Yeah.
can we stand out without selling out in the
Oh,
age of artificial? This is big. This is big topic.
it's a
This
big
is
topic.
really big.
So, because it's a big topic, you don't think there is one word I can say, "Hey, do this." No, I mean, I think there is one word, and maybe the one word would be proactive. If I want to take it into 3 words, then proactive, meaning that you have to go out there, nothing falls out of the sky. And as Mel Robbins says, no one's, like no one is out there. Like you have to do the job. But the other 2 words would be authenticity. We just talked about being happy. We all have a spark of happiness inside of us. So, how do we bring ourselves to any situation, any encounter, as authentic as we are? And authenticity is a really big word. So I like to say that authenticity is about being congruent, being aligned with what you say, what you think, and what you do. When my actions, my words, my thoughts are kind of aligned, then I'm most likely in more authentic state. So if I tell you that, Hidden, you're so like funny and I'm so happy to be here, if I don't really feel it, you will see that something is not right.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Second, the third word would be strategic, because it's okay to be strategic. It's okay to want something from people. What's not okay is to ask for it in the wrong way. So be proactive, meaning that you take responsibility of your life results, and then make sure to show up with being as much as who you are and authentic as you can. And it's okay to be strategic. It's okay to aim for somewhere and tell people that you want to do it. And I think the word networking is not a good word, because it makes people think that it's fake and manipulative, but it's really about making friends, and friends want to help friends. So that's the whole story, if you wanted to make it a bit shorter.
So proactive, authentic, strategic. So
Yeah.
now we have it on the screen, so we can remind ourselves what it is. But is that the content? For example, is that the content of your book? Because you talk about how to achieve your goals through authentic business relationships. I will say I listened to the book, but I listened to it when we had the pre-chat way before.
Hmm.
And I know, and I was always nodding because
Yeah.
everything you said, there was nothing like I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the light of, I think it's more this thing that you were 16 when you left home. You went out there and you just like, okay,
Yeah.
you could just have the biggest adventure, but then when you get there, then it's just like, and then you could get scared and go home again. But you just grabbed the bull with its horn and said,
Yeah.
"I need this. You want to hire me." So how do you do? Because everything today,
Yeah.
everything. Like I have kids who are almost 25, and they are always
But
on
you're
this.
29. How come?
Oh yes, I
I
was
lied a bit.
it's a white
Yeah.
lie. But like
Yeah.
everything is on. If it is not on Snapchat, it is on TikTok and it's
Yeah.
on Instagram. But like we are have been moving away from these interaction with people, and
Yeah.
that is so sad because like in COVID, my biggest thing in COVID was I couldn't give people a hug. I'm a
Mm.
hugger, and it was a
Yeah.
horrible time,
It was hard.
horrible. And I was like, when they said
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, you can," like, I was just like, "Oh, give me a hug."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So as you said about the book, how do I get people to do it, to make the ask? So everything about the book is about being proactive. And the book starts with saying that in order to achieve your goals, you have to be authentic and strategic. But then this is the foundation. And above that, there is the method, this method that I've been teaching 12 years around the world. As I said, actually, next month, I'm going to speak at my 28th country, which is Latvia, and I'm very excited about it. And so it goes like this, and I'll repeat it. I'll say it once, and then I'll kind of drill down into each of the
Yeah,
pillars. So
yeah,
it's a method of 6 pillars, and these 6 pillars can help you achieve your goals. For example, find a job, climb the corporate ladder, find clients. It's not magic, but it just makes so much sense because nobody teaches us how to achieve goals through relationship building, and we all do it all the time. So here's my method, the human factor method to achieving your goals. It starts with a goal, surprisingly, understanding what is your goal. Then
yeah,
it moves to your people plan, and I'll explain it in a second, having a people plan to achieve a goal. Then it's about building a brand. How do you bring yourself out there? Then it's about connecting and making this good first connection, memorable rapport, then maintaining relationships, and then leveraging for results. So if I'll explain again, because it's kind of long, goal is understanding what you want, small or big. Do I want to find a new job, or do I want to get a raise, or do I want to get clients? The second one is people plan. So the same as we have business plan and marketing plan, why shouldn't we have a people plan? We know so many people. So we essentially can map the people we know and see where we can find strangers that can help us. Because I'm sure, there are so many people around us. So the idea is to understand how the people around us could possibly support us in achieving this goal. Then when we approach them, the first thing they would do is, hey, but who is she? So they will Google me, they will ask me who I am, they will go on my LinkedIn. That's why we need to build a brand in the right way. And then we communicate with people. You want to know how to break the ice, speaking of an ice, how to create a good small talk, how to connect with people intentionally and truly, and how to create a memorable, fun experience by engaging with you. And then you want to maintain the relationship, which is the working in the word networking. And lastly is how to enroll people to support you. And if you've done all those five stages well, the sixth stage of enrollment would be so easy because people will already be your friend and want to help you.
But before you continue, because when I think of goals,
Yeah.
uh, are we Europeans? Are we better? Like we are not good at it, are we? Because in the US,
Hmm.
they are. You hear about goals all the time. And
Yeah.
when you, for example, moved from Paris, no, from France, you lived in France when you
Yeah.
moved to Australia, and
Hmm.
then from Australia to the US. Like when you went to US, did you were you surprised how they are better
Hmm.
than us in Europe to set themselves a goal? Like, or were you just did you learn it in Australia, or when did you encounter
Hmm.
the goals for yourself? Like because you have this drive,
Yeah.
like you have just like you are an extrovert. You just walk up to people and say, "Hey, I need a job. Do you have something for me?" But not everybody can do that. But
Yeah.
when did you meet the notion of a goal, like to
So
set
I
a
love I love that you asked that. First of all, I am mostly an extroverted, but I have my, quiet moment that I need the time for myself to recharge, and sometimes that I,
uh,
have no energy. So I mean, just want to put it in place. So I love that you asked this question because as human beings, we all want to get something. Americans, I agree with you that they really cherish the notion of a goal, and it's all about. It's a very, I would say, money oriented country, and everything is about money and buying and tipping and selling. And I won't, answer you if you won't pay me $500. And I mean, of course, I'm exaggerating, but it's very goal oriented, and that's why I think also America is making a lot of money, and there's a lot of industries that are very, very rich because they really take it seriously. But Europe, I think, has, of course, people have goals, but they're doing it more quietly in a European manner. I'm now in Berlin, and Germany, also Frankfurt, for example, is one of the capitals of finances. I mean,
mm,
people in Europe are really, dealing with money, dealing with amazing businesses. Everyone has a goal. I think the way it's being expressed is maybe more an introverted style as opposed to the US, which means that if you have a goal, if you have a company for you, because people in Europe looking for a job, people in Europe looking for clients, so it's like something that we all share. So I think the way people express it here might be different. They might not go and write on Instagram or Facebook, hey, I'm looking for a job, can anyone help me? It might be not most people's style if I'm talking culturally wise, and Europe is big but culturally wise. But then, you will share some with someone, you will send a CV. So we all have goals. You may want to call it differently, but we all need some style. Sometimes we need to have a job, but some of us, I do agree, that have more drive than others, and it's a culturally thing, and it's also a personality thing. So in US, the the competition is higher. So everyone want to be, in startups, and everyone want to be make a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
And in Europe, there is also competition. It's just been expressed differently, but also I might be a more competitive person, or achiever than my neighbor in Europe. So that's how I see it.
But do you sense, like, as you're mentioning, that you are going to Lithuania next
Yeah.
month, and that will be your 28th country that you are visiting?
Latvia. I'm going to
Latvia,
Latvia,
sorry,
Lithuania.
Latvia.
I'm going to
Yeah.
both actually, and Latvia would be my 28th country. Yes, bless you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you, when teaching this, like talking to people and talking about these pillars or six pillars you have, is are people like, do they look at you like you are an alien, or like you come from another
No.
planet, or do they, like, what is it of those six? Like, you start with a goal, and you have a people plan, you are building a brand, you are making the
Mhm.
connections, you're maintaining the connections, and then come the results.
Yeah.
So where do you sense, like, of these six pillars,
Mhm.
where do people stop at most? Like, do you have any, like,
Yes, I love this question. So, first of all, I love teaching it, especially in Eastern Europe. Not especially, but I see the impact of this method in Eastern Europe and also in Asia. I just came back from Thailand and Vietnam, and I think these, like, I would generally say that these cultures are inherently more introverted. And one of the reasons why they like to learn from how I teach it is because it's very structural, and many people need a structure and a framework, and then they say, so that's how you do it, because nobody teaches us how to do it. So introverted people, technical people, developers, again, Eastern Europeans and Asian, by kind of generalizing, really enjoy being given a framework. But to your question, the place that I see that people have the most challenge within my method is actually none of the six. It's beyond it. It's actually the
oh,
mindset, because I can tell the shyest person in the world, hey, you see this person? Go over there, say, hi, my name is George. Technically, physically, George could do it, right? He could, stand up, go to this person and tell him. But the reason he would not do it is not because he cannot, it's because of his brain, because he will, or mindset. He will think, oh my God, maybe he will think I'm stupid, or I'm annoying him, or I'm interrupting him. So a lot of the things that I do across teaching the method is about teaching the mindset of. I just had a conversation with someone the other like an hour ago, and she said, "You know what I learned in your book? It's mind blowing. Most people really happy to help others." And I'm like,
yeah.
"That's true." And so I mean, a lot of things that just, I mean, I want to normalize that most of us just uncomfortable doing really, like, meeting new people or interacting with new people. Let's normalize it, because research says that 90% of the people in the world have some kind of social fear. If it's online, offline, if I talk to an authority or two people or 20 people. So let's just normalize and understand that everyone, each and every one of us, has some kind of social fear. And when we understand it, I think it makes it much easier to go out there and talk to people, because they might also be shy and they might also be uncomfortable.
But that is what you teach your kids, isn't it? That you it's better
Mhm.
to ask and to get no than not ask and not get anything. Because
Exactly.
what could happen? You will not break your arm, you will not break your foot, or like,
Yeah.
and it's funny enough, because last week I was talking to a guy called Andrew Davis from New
Mhm.
York in US, about improvisation and how he teaches people. And I have a friend here in Iceland who went to a improv course
Mhm.
just to handle this. Like, what, like, go to a person and try to say hi, like, how are you? And
Yeah.
but we have a way here in Iceland, because we have the swimming pools, which are thermal heated.
I
So,
should come to Iceland. I have never
oh
been there
yes.
yet. Maybe it will be my 29th country.
Yes, and let's hope it will
Yeah.
not look like this, but that is also nice, because
Yeah.
there is nothing better than to go to the swimming pool and talk about the bloody weather,
Mm. Yeah.
and bitch and moan about the weather in the hot tub, because
Exactly.
but that is just like, you are just like, okay, how have your day been? And no,
Mhm.
like, nobody, you're like, of course, if you indicate, like you signal that you want to be in alone in a peace and
Yeah.
everywhere, then you just do that. So, 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 and it reminds me of when you're speaking about this, the mindset, because teenagers, when you, the hormone flip, like when you go
Yeah.
to, like you are getting into the teenage years, you are just like, oh, they looked at me, what will they do? What are they saying? And you are just like, they are
Yeah.
probably just thinking about their exam tomorrow, or like,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
it's nothing. So it's better. I just walk up to people and say, sorry, can you, and then you either get yes or no, and then just like, oh, sorry for disturbing you, and
Hmm.
it's absolutely right. People are, they want to help you in so many ways. But okay, so you talk about goals and you talk about people plan. Let's dive into these words. Like
Yeah.
goals, we all know how you, like, I want to be a president of, well, they probably have to be like in a like
Mhm.
reachable, or do you say like, I laughed a little bit in your introduction that you wanted to go on a cruise ship or you wanted to go to the
Yeah.
moon or NASA or whatnot. And I was just like, this is just like all over where you wanted to work. But
I'm a dreamer. I dream a lot. You can't
yeah,
blame me
but
for
you have to dream, and then you put the
yeah.
dream into words, and then you have a goal. But
Mhm.
people plan. What, like how do you explain, how explain people plan? How can
Okay.
you, where do you go from there?
So if I want to find a job in high tech in the biomed industry, for example,
Yeah.
so I know what is my goal. My goal is to find a job. I don't know, a developer, a marketer, whatever I am. And then I need to find the biomed company within my region or maybe in another region if I'm willing to relocate or so on. And I can do a few things. I can go online and find a different job posting, and I can send my CV, and I can even try to approach this person on LinkedIn. But that might give me the job. That's one way. But research says, and especially LinkedIn research says, that one of the best ways, like over 80%, even more, the way to find a job or client is through people. So if you know someone or even can get to a friend of a friend, you have some kind of personal connection, you immediately skyrocket your chances to find this client or get the job. And we know so many people in our lifetime. And I always say that we need, when I talk about people plan, is that most of the people we need are already within our reach. We just never looked for it. So the idea is just to, first of all, map your own network. Like you've been on the planet for more than 29 years. You can look at your LinkedIn friends, your Facebook, your phone. Think of, family friends, your neighborhood, your gym. I mean, we're all a part of so many different circles. And within those circles, we may do this exercise. I call it like mind mapping, and really think through all the circles that we are in life. And then, oh my God, my friend's sister works for a biomed company. So when you think about it, you find the people. But it's not always, as reachable. So you also want to think, where can I find new people? Where would this HR person in a biomed company, where would she be? She might be at an HR conference where I can maybe reach out to her. Maybe I have a friend in this industry that I can ask to connect me to someone. So it's really about making like understand where can they be. And then you either approach the right person or use your or ask your friends to introduce you to those people. So once you have an inventory of everyone you meet or where can you meet those new people, you're already understanding how rich you are in terms of human capital. And that's also gives a lot of, I would say, confidence knowing that I might be able to get anywhere I know through my network or people around me. And then the issue is not about once you know they're there, the issue is how to approach them for most people. But first of all, I want you to know that they are there, and then you would find out how to reach out to them.
So I would say, like, instead of mind mapping, I would
Yeah,
say people mapping. Just like, which people do you have? Where are they,
exactly.
like, located? Do you have friends from elementary school? Where are they working? And like
Yeah,
you can put them in some like area. Like, these are the people who I knew from elementary school. These are the people I knew from
yeah.
high school, and it's just like having fun with it, because I
Mhm.
think that is the easy part, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's
And
the
really,
planning part.
yeah, and make the web of like it's like a spider web. It's just
Yeah.
like where are the people? Because building a brand, which is the third one, like
Hmm.
for me, when I quit my job after 12 years as
Hmm.
a chief finance officer in a leisure center, selling myself,
Hmm.
that was the most horrific
Yeah.
thought that I have ever encountered because who am I?
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
am I? Why am I? And what like and that is and because my wife is also in like she is in upcycling and we
Yeah.
discussed this both. And it was much easier for me to say what she was good at than
Yeah.
for me to sit alone and like, yeah, I am the best in the world.
That's so true. It's so easy for us to like vouch for others or acknowledge other people and tell them what they're good at. But it's always so easy for us to talk about ourselves. And I have this exercise I always do when I teach personal branding, is that I tell people what's the first association that comes to mind when you see many times I give a photo of Elon Musk. So what's the first association that comes to mind when you see Elon Musk? What's the first word that you think about?
Well, okay, Rich.
Rich. Okay, rich. What's the first association that comes to your mind when you hear about Beyonce?
Beautiful artist.
Beautiful artist. Okay. What's the first association that comes to mind when people see you?
Well, I know it's smiling. I'm always smiling.
Okay, high five. So
Yeah.
usually, imagine this. I do this exercise in rooms with, I don't know, 30, 40, even hundreds of people. And they have a lot to say about Elon Musk and about Beyonce. But when I ask them about themselves, the room is just, turning silence. Nobody say anything. And I know I'm expecting this silence moment. And I tell them, guys, this is the most important thing. You should know what to say about yourself, first of all, and most of you should feel comfortable, because if you won't talk about yourself, nobody else will, or they will say things that are not relevant maybe about your brand. So if you won't manage your brand, nobody else will manage your brand. And when I talk about managing your brand, first of all, is about being you. So what's within your strengths and values are relevant, let's say, to your professional world. So maybe you're a great cook, but it's not really relevant for how you do the job. So I want you to emphasize those things. Do you have a good sense of humor? Is good for the workplace. Are you good at decision making? Are you leader? So think about what characterizes you, and online you can express your brand by sharing content about those, the messages you want people to know about you, the strength, the values. And when you meet with people, just be, if you're a leader, then make sure to create a good environment that people can feel comfortable expressing themselves. If you're problem solver, ask people, hey, how can I help you? Or make sure the conversation goes to an issue that you can just try to help them. So I mean, be aware of how you bring yourself, and of course how you introduce yourself.
Maybe also now it's the time, like because if you dare to ask, then you could ask your best friends or the circle of friends and say, "How would you describe me?"
Oh,
And
perfect.
get and get some words so
Yeah.
you could say, "No, I don't feel like this." But
Yeah.
now I have to talk to you about the cultural differences
Yeah.
because how is it like people in Asia and people in Europe, people in US, like we are have all sets of norms
Yeah.
and values and whatnot from our parents and from society, and it's
Mhm.
very, very
Yeah.
different. Like there could be a huge difference between
Yeah.
my upbringing and your upbringing. And when you are selling yourself and I am selling myself, then comes the chitter chatter from the parents, blah 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 blah. You are not allowed to, and then comes the finger. So when you encounter different cultural behavior,
Yeah.
like because you were in Vietnam and Thailand, tell
Yeah.
us about like how do they react? Because building a brand, and they are saying,
Hmm.
Am I allowed to talk about me?"
Yeah. Okay. So there are a few things that we do as humans that basically are beyond any culture. Smiling, people crying, everyone wants to be listened to. Everyone in the world, no matter where they're from, want to be respected, want to
Yeah,
be acknowledged. I mean, there are a few things that once you know them, first of all, it helps you connect with people. But I agree with you. I mean, in Asia, the concept of losing face is very strong. You
yeah.
know, they don't want to insult anyone. They don't want to do something that may show them in the bad light, and then they won't, get out of their house forever. And many times when I'm encountering a new culture, first of all, I match my energy. So if I was now in Asia and people are more, calm and relaxed and kapunka and that, so I will do like this, and I will let them, essentially, I will let them guide the way. Or I will ask a question, I will try to listen and see how they react. And usually, so basically let them like lead the conversation in terms of how deeply you open up, how do you ask. But and if I want to ask something, then I will maybe be more maybe cautious. I'll say, look, I have a question, I hope it's okay and it's not insulting you culturally wise, but do you think we can do XYZ? So just be very, very conscious of who you're speaking with. And if you feel that they're more loose and fun with you, then you can be the same with them. So just and then in the other way, when I meet American or something, we can just laugh and talk. I just like for hours, and like the ice has been broken so quickly.
Yeah.
So basically it's always acknowledge people, give them the respect, and then just let the conversation grow and listen to their cues and try to match it, so you will feel more comfortable, you will make them feel comfortable next to you, and then you can continue kind of growing and deepening the conversation or the relationship.
But how is it? Because we are talking about standing out without selling out in the age of
Yeah.
artificial intelligence. Can we use can we use or talk about using AI or ChatGPT or whatnot
Hmm.
to because funny enough, I have named my
Yeah.
ChatGPT Chatty because and I am
Yeah.
just like, hey buddy, how are like
Yep.
it's like it's like I'm talking to a person on the other side. But
Exactly.
but then you can maybe have this then you have this imagine like take out what you have here like inside your
Yeah.
brain and put it somewhere and you are alone and Chatty is not going to like
Yeah.
send it out and say, oh, look what happened in Iceland he is saying about himself and so
Exactly.
like maybe like I find that with the I find it interesting that you can do it, but
Yeah.
don't believe everything because AI will not replace the human mind, and then that is like I think we have to be very clear about that because
Exactly.
and
But you can use it
yeah,
to support the connection.
yeah,
So my workshops and training right now and work one-on-ones, I use a lot of different prompts. So for example, imagine I can tell the chat GPT, hey, I'm just about to speak to Hadin, and I'm going to interview on in his show, and and this is his LinkedIn profile and his website, and I want you to analyze his communication style. And based on what you know about me as well, what would be the best way to write a message to him, to connect with him, to interact with him? And then you can get an analysis of your personality and my
yeah,
personality. It might not be 100% accurate. I mean, it's still hallucinating, which is good because it means that we have to be alert and not, trust it 100%. But it does mean that, hey, I can come more prepared, or I can tell him, find common grounds, topics that we both can talk about, so we'll
yeah,
connect better, so he can help you. You can tell him, please write a follow-up message. Please tell me, what to write in the post that he would appreciate. So you can use AI as your companion, as your friend, to plan how to connect and with people on a more honest level.
yeah. So yeah, so it's not all bad. It's not all bad.
No,
But
no.
so now, okay, we built a brand and
Yeah,
we figure out what we stand for, because we need to, like,
yeah,
we don't want to do something that is not appropriate, like
yeah,
what we feel is not appropriate. So the connection part,
yeah,
now we can't, because there are people who have really difficulties
yeah,
connecting with people, and as you said, like, there is something about this walking up to a person and say, "Hey, you work in
mm,
the blah 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 industry. I'm
yeah.
interested. Can you tell me?" And people would just like, "Who?
Oh,
Like
easy.
who?"
Yeah,
So how? And again, this must again be some cultural thing, because in Asia, like, you like bow and you say, like, "Can I
yeah,
disturb you?" And like, take your time and whatnot. But how is it? The connection is, but you have it
exactly.
maybe, you have the connection maybe without realizing that you have it.
Yeah. So, even here, connecting intentionally, being memorable, I use or I recommend to use different ways of communication that are usually human ways of communicating. I mean, it's kind of things that most people would probably react to. So, first of all, if we're talking about breaking the ice, I look at it in two ways. I call it the interactive and the attractive way. Interactive is when I initiate, and attractive is when I try to attract people. But even before that, let's understand what happens in our brain when we see people and when we meet new people. If I'll try to kind of simplify it, our brain has two pop ups, as I like to say, when we see someone new, and it happens like the split of a second. The first pop up, the first question is the security assessment. So when we see someone, our brain asks itself, hey, is this person a friend or an enemy? And then it answers, okay, he's not an enemy. Next assessment, next pop up is the usability assessment. Hey, do they like me or not? And then they don't like me, they like me, and then they say, okay, this person is not a threat and he might like me. So we feel more comfortable. We can take our guards off. So these are the questions that our brain asks. And I always waited for people to approach me at parties or at events. I was waiting for them to come to me, and essentially later on I realized showing me that they like me and showing me that they trust me. But it's the other way around. When I understand this concept, I said, maybe what will happen if I will bypass this system? And I will be the first person to approach someone, and I will smile and I will make them feel comfortable next to me. Then this is where the power is. So if you approach someone and you're smiling to them, you're basically taking their defense systems down in a way. So first thing is there is a great bliss in being proactive. Second is about how to break the ice. If I'm talking about the interactive method, then just approach people and ask something which is relevant to the certain situation. Like if you're at an event, sorry, where are the restrooms, or where is the bar, or do you know when the next speaker is up? And sorry, do you have a pen or something? So and then, by the way, I'm Lirone. So ask them a certain relevant question and then introduce yourself and continue the conversation from there. And then when it comes to small talk, I have my small talk formula. I'll try to explain it as easy as I can, but it's all things that you've heard before. It's nothing new. So small talk, let's say you meet someone at the supermarket or at a conference, and you can also do it online. It has three parts. First impression, then connection, and then continuity if you want to continue the conversation. The first impression happens, I mean, usually like first few seconds, 7 seconds,
Uh,
we get an impression of someone. So that's why, as I said earlier, smile, bring yourself, like make others feel comfortable. And then you introduce yourself, they introduce themselves usually. Then the communication part, sorry, the connection part is the majority of the conversation. So how can you connect to someone you've just met and you don't know anything about them? There are three main ways. First of all, repeat their name a few times. Like I try to say Hayden and try to say your name because it's important, and we love hearing our name because we understand that people really, least like we matter. They're really with us right now. Second thing is about asking questions, really, really finding interest. So tell me where you're from. How did you start doing what you're doing now? Finding interest in others make you interesting to them. And the last way that will help you connect with others is common ground. When we see people and we hear about things in them that reminds us of ourselves, we actually feel much more connected. And for that, I have the 4 P's. I don't know if you remember them from my book. The 4 P's of common ground. What do you think would the 4 P's includes of common ground?
I can't remember, but positivity
No,
or
also always, but no.
you have to say it. You have to say it.
Four P's
You're
of
putting.
common ground. When you meet someone, you don't know what to talk about. These are
Yeah.
the four main topics: passions,
Yes.
places, people, or present. Present is what happens right now. So, passions, food, vacation, your kids, your hobbies. Places is where you've been to, traveled, learned, studied, or whatever. And people are basically people that we either know or we kind of admire. And then present, what happens right now? The trees, the snow, the weather, the shows on TV, um, and so on. So 4 P's: people, places, passions. Sorry, passions, places, people, and present. Four topics to talk about. And
But
if
how? Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
you, So just to make sure it's kind of coherent. So we talked about first impression, smile and introduce yourself. Then it's about connection with people. So stating their name, finding common ground, and finding interest in them. And then if you want to continue the conversation, you have to do one main thing. You have to give them something and make them expect for it. So Hadin, there is a really interesting article. I have to send it to you. What's your email? Good. So then when I follow up and reach out to you the next day, you were already expecting to hear from me. And that's how you build a relationship. And that's also how you build friendship, because it's about giving to others as well.
How much is it when you are connecting with people? Do you gut feeling? Like, do you know when it's a good match? Like, is it? I
Great
know it's.
question.
I know it's a different because when me and my wife we sometimes laugh about it because we meet people and she always afterwards she always looks at me and says, "So, what does your gut feeling say?" And say, "Meh, yeah, or no, no, there is something off." So
Do you
so
get
so
it right?
yes, usually.
Okay. So I think I also usually get it right, but I still surprise myself. And I'm happy when it happens, because it means that sometimes we need to give people a chance. Sometimes we're not in the right mood, they're not in the right mood. Um, and yeah, so I usually get it right, but we need to give room for serendipity.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to be open-minded. It's
Yeah.
like we can't say like, but of course, if you notice that people are
Mhm.
drinking too much or do like there can be a loads of stuff what is on the
Yeah.
gut feeling meter. But then you have as after connection, then you talk about maintenance
Yeah.
and maintaining everything like that because there are so much thing like there are so much noise out there. I get
Yeah.
because I invite people to these conversations and I expect people to say, well, ignore it or
Mhm.
be take part.
Yeah.
And but there is a lot of noise out there, and you get bombarded of
Yeah.
something. So how the art of maintenance,
Okay.
maintaining a good connection or maintaining without being, I gather that you are not sending emails
Mhm.
every 5 minutes. Like it's just like, hey, do you remember? Or is it a week where you send the email, or is it 2 weeks, or like how do you maintain a good
Good
like
question.
yeah
So first of all, we know a lot of people, and it just doesn't make sense to maintain relationship with everyone you met. But what I do is I look at it as different circles. Everyone or most people I meet, I invite them on LinkedIn or Instagram, and since I'm pretty active there, then this is one way for us to maybe stay on each other's mind. Where some every now and again your name pops up on LinkedIn. Just yesterday someone sent me a message, hey, we didn't spoke in a while, and I just looked at your, like, I just saw a post of your on Facebook, and I thought it's a great chance to say hi. So voices from the past would come because they see you on social media. Then if you want to stay in touch or communicate with specific people, then I usually, what I do, first of all, I have this ritual of sending them a message after we met and maybe putting this time in the calendar for a call or so on. But I also create what I like to say, it's a method by Michael Port, an American marketer, and he calls it the 90 list. He says that create a list of 10, 15, 30, up to 90 people that you know, and then every day make 5, 10 minutes time to reach out to them, like their post, send them a message, connect them with one another, send them an article about something. So let's say I have 30 people. Every day I send a message to them from the first of the month. Then until the month is over, unless it's February, I touch base with everyone. And then the next month I touch base with them again. So let's say after 4 months I want to ask something, then I'm not a stranger. I was always there. I always kept the relationship. So that's kind of build a relationship way before you might need it.
And then the last part,
Yeah.
the results, and like that's the easy part because when it's either or, isn't it?
Yeah.
You either click or like you can, there is something in it, isn't it?
So let
Or
me tell you, yeah, the oldest trick in the book. So if you already build a relationship, you made a good impression, you had a great time, you kept in touch and showed other people you care, more or less, then most likely that people would, be happy to connect and support. But it's always uncomfortable for us to ask for help. So the best way, apart from asking directly, is just asking for advice. There is a great say in the startup world, and it goes like this: if you want advice, ask for money. If you want money, ask for advice. Asking people for advice is the best way to get people to not only give you an advice but also help you, because psychologically, we when someone asking us for advice, we feel good because we're like, hey, we can help them with our 2 cents. And because we feel good about them and about ourselves, we usually try to help them even further. So asking for advice also gives people the opportunity to say no or not now. So that's why it's the most gentle and accommodating way to get others to want to help you. And they don't even know that you wanted them to help you, but it usually
Hmm,
works, good for both sides.
brilliant. And do you know what? We have 3 minutes. An
Oh
hour
my
has
God.
yes.
It passed so
Time time
quickly.
time flies when you're having
Yeah.
fun. And because we have been talking about your book, and
Yeah.
you can get it on Amazon, but you can also go if people visit your website,
Yes, please.
lironeglikman.com,
Mhm.
then is there still a like some value in getting the book there?
Definitely. You're going to get an access to a few master classes and also to the book workbook, the extended workbook, if you get it also on the website.
So there is like, oh,
Yeah.
I love this. I love things when they can like because then you get richer, and
Yeah.
and but I loved it. I listened to. I know that because I know
Thank
that
you.
it is because like I can be nodding every time everything you say. It's what I do, and I'm just like, yeah, this is so true. This is
Heading, you're
brilliant.
so amazing, and I love your vibe, and I'm so happy to be here. And I also want to acknowledge you for having this show and sharing knowledge of so many different people. I'm sure so many are earning from it, and so do you.
Well, it is just like we are. Everybody has something to say, and it's just
Exactly.
like we just have to put it out. So,
Yes.
but to finish off, like people can contact you on LinkedIn, on social media and stuff. So, best thing is, of course, to go visit your website because they heaps of information on your website, and you are all over. So you are like
Catch
28
me if you
countries.
can. Yeah.
You are running like it's just like remarkable how, and you are still sane. Like you're not getting insane of
That's
traveling.
the thing. Traveling keeps me sane. Staying in one place, it's hard for me at this stage. But I didn't say that, but my father is a retired commercial pilot. So I got this lifestyle from him. So you can blame him.
Ah, so yeah, yeah, yeah,
Complaints to
yeah,
my
yeah,
father.
yeah. But you are having fun. But
Yes.
I have had it has been a blast talking to you,
Same
and I
here.
thank you very much. But I have to say, like, I just next inspiring conversation with yet another inspiring guest is next Thursday, and
Mhm.
believe it or not, we are almost in November. Like
Oh my God.
it's almost
Birthday
Christmas.
month.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations. So,
Thank
like,
you.
but we are, I'm talking to Constant Curtis next
Yeah.
Thursday, and we are talking about the unlearning curve, letting
Uh-huh.
go of the stories that keep you stuck. Talking about
Hmm.
what will happen if you go to the person like, what will happen? And, like, as always, it is, I reach out to people because I want to be curious, I want to be interested, and I want to be inspired. And Lirone Glikman, you totally are in all three categories. Like,
Thank you
and
so much.
I'm so happy that we met. Like, it's just like
Too.
it's great that we found each other on Podmatch,
So
or
much. Yeah.
yeah. So, and just keep on going, and people go out and or get the book, and just it is really easy, and it makes you feel good, and there's a lot of stuff around this book, isn't it?
I'm really, really, happy that I can share
Yes.
this with you and with your viewers and listeners. And yeah, and keep, I always say that keep dreaming, keep connecting, and keep fulfilling and enjoy the journey.
Yes. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank